And we are set to go here, 165 pounds. We will start the 49th annual NWCA All Star Classic here on Fox College Sports. Jason Bryan here with you, calling the action along with Nick Garone, All-American from way back in the day. Nick, you've seen these guys wrestle a whole lot. We've got Alex Dieringer going to be out there in the red singlet, taking on Nick Sulzer. Dieringer, a returning national champion from Oklahoma State, moving up from 157 to 165 this year. While Sulzer, a two-time All-American from the University of Virginia, he's at the weight. He's ranked number 2. Nick, how do you see this one unfolding?
You know what I love about this matchup, Jason, is the fact that it's 1 versus 2. These are the 2 guys that people think they're going to meet at the NCAA championships in March. So you know what? They have an opportunity to see each other, get that feel against one another, and have that opportunity to prove who's really number 1 in the preseason rankings.
The All-Star Classic in its 49th iteration moved to the first weekend in November in 2012. Now we see Dieringer countering a shot, coming around, looking for a cradle, comes through, gets the takedown, and he'll take a 2-0 advantage.
You know, he had Sulzer's leg in that bad position. It's too early to be kind of fighting those bad positions like that.
Again, Dieringer, as we said, moving up from 157, where he was a national champion, was 3rd as a freshman. A 2-time member of the USA Wrestling Junior World Team, was a World Junior Silver medalist in 2013. Also made the team in Pattaya, Thailand in 2012. And when you talk about guys that have a motor and it's high octane and horsepower, Alex Dieringer's one of those guys.
Oh, without a doubt. He is a goer. He's a scrambler. He's a guy that there's no easy takedowns. There's no easy takedowns with Dieringer. He is a guy that will fight everything, and that's why he's a national champion, because he has that kind of grit and then mentality that he's not going to give up easy points.
As we go out of bounds, Sulzer's going to adjust his headgear. He's a 2-time All-American from the University of Virginia, coached by Steve Garland. Keith Gavin, the new assistant here at University of Virginia, in his corner tonight, while Zach Esposito, national champ from Oklahoma State, in the corner for Dieringer. Sulzer, 8th as a sophomore, 4th last year, from the wrestling factory that is St. Edward High School in Lakewood, Ohio.
Boy, St. Ed's, boy, they produce them, don't they, Jason? I mean, every year, just not just recently, for the last 30 years, every year, you know, they produce great athletes, great wrestlers, and we get to see these guys every year.
Sulzer turns and faces, gets the 1-point escape, cuts the lead in half, 2-1 in favor of Dieringer. A minute to go, 1:02 of riding time in favor of the Oklahoma State Cowboy. Again, this event, not typical. You're seeing event-specific singlets. This is an NCAA exempt event, so weigh-in rules have to be followed and things of that nature. But also, you get to have a little fun. You get some dynamic singlets. It's not something you just get at the store.
You know, when I was in school, you know, this was the event that you wanted to get invited to. This is the one that you wanted somebody to say, give you that call and say, hey, listen, you're invited. You're going to represent. It used to be the East-West All Star Classic when I was going, and you're going to, from this point east, you're going to represent the East, and it was an incredible honor, and it is still today one of those events that give these guys an opportunity to go back, even if they don't win a national title, go back and say, I participated in the All Star Classic.
We get a fresh start as we go out of bounds with 25 to go here in the first period. Now, another thing to keep an eye on, folks, is we've got 2 experimental rules that are being used only for this event, for the All-Star Classic. You will not see them any other time in college wrestling this season, but you might see them in the future. We'll talk about those rules when we see the opportunity. We saw some of the exhibition matches before we started the main event here, but one of them deals with stalling, and one of them deals with escape points. So first period's going to end 2-1 in favor of Dieringer. There's the toss. He elects to start the second period, the down position. So obviously Sulzer, very good on top. He actually led the country in major decisions at the weight class last year with 17. So we talked about horsepower and high octane with Alex Dieringer. Nick Sulzer's a guy who puts a lot of points on the board up as well.
Well, you know, he wears guys down also. That position is a position, well, that didn't get to do that against Dieringer, but that's a position you can take a lot out of a guy. If you're heavy on top and you're breaking a guy down and you're working him on top, you could take a lot out of a guy in the third period. So, and Sulzer has been a guy that does that on a regular basis.
1-point escape for Dieringer, so extends his lead now to 3-1. Riding time up under a minute, and that is one of the nuances of college wrestling that's different from high school wrestling. You get a minute of time where you control your opponent in the top position. At the end of the match, you'll get an extra point. And there you see 58 seconds of advantage time or riding time used interchangeably. Sulzer kind of controlling the center of the mat. Good wrestling family too. You know, you got Sulzers that wrestled at Northwestern, at Eastern Michigan. You wrestled all over the place.
Oh, that was a beautiful beautiful popping post into that high C. Let's see if he can finish it right here.
Sitting with that chest lock is Sulzer. You can see Dieringer's left arm trying to swing up. And Nick, what's he trying to do in this position here?
Right now, Sulzer just wants to get that stalemate. I mean, that's all he can pray for. He got so deep on that. And Dieringer's got to get his head out. And that's an incredible technique right there by Sulzer, because he stopped him from getting the two. When the guy's in that deep, that's what you could go for. You don't want to get taken down, and he did his job there.
45 to go, period number 2 here in our first match at the NWCA All Star Classic here at the Palestra. As we mentioned in the open, means House of Wrestling in Greek, and this is traditionally known as a basketball facility. You can even see the Big 5 banners draped from the rafters, but wrestling took it back tonight.
Well, you know what? You couldn't ask for a better name for an arena, for a very prestigious event like the All Star Classic, and I love the name. I just love it.
20 seconds remaining. Dieringer holding that 3-1 lead, and now looks for a shot on the out-of-bounds line. Now, here's where you're going to see where referee Tim Shields and Gary Kessel are going to maybe have an opportunity for these new rules. If wrestlers back straight out and do not engage or not under attack, they're going to get hit for stalling. And if you're taking well, they let the clock run quite a bit there, so we got to reset the clock. So we put 8 seconds back on the clock, and we are closing seconds here of the second period. Again, the first match here at 165. The first time Alex Dieringer wrestled up at this weight, and we will go into the third. Sulzer's going to look over to Keith Gavin. He says, I'm going to start in the down position. So kind of, I don't know, choosing down here, Nick. You got 58 seconds of riding time against. What are your thoughts?
You know what? That's one of those flips of the coin. If he can get a quick one right here and he's up 3-2, then he goes ahead with a takedown, but he's already giving up that riding time. But you know what? He needs a takedown regardless, and he's going to have to erase that time with the takedown.
Another rule that is actually in place that's not experimental is riding in the top position. You're going to see side headlocks called differently. You're going to see dropping to an ankle called differently, and even situations like that where Sulzer did not lift in return, or excuse me, Dieringer did not lift in return, you could potentially see a stall call there. You're going to start seeing a lot of the officials doing a lot more hand counts of up to 5, and that's going to signal the stall call. So keep an eye on that throughout the course of the evening.
And I also love the visual as well, because it gives the coaches and the athletes an opportunity to adjust themselves to get out of that stalling position.
Tripoding up is Sulzer on the restart. Dieringer going to try to trip him back down to the mat. Regains his control with now turning his hips in and getting the one escape is Sulzer. So now 3-2, riding time at 1.5 minutes. Now with a front headlock is Sulzer. Now we're backing toward the edge. Now this is where we might see that stalling position, but is he fighting enough out of bounds? Okay, and a lot of this in the rules meeting earlier was a lot of it's a judgment call. It's not black and white. It's like wrestling rules. It's a gray area everywhere.
Well, you know what? That's kind of scary too. You know, you get into a big match at the NCAAs or in one of these big tournaments, and now it's really a call that the referee can make or not make. So it's a little nerve-wracking when you get in those positions.
We mentioned that Sulzer was from St. Edward in Lakewood, Ohio, while Dieringer hails from Port Washington, Wisconsin. Was a Triple Crown winner, good at all 3 styles coming through high school.
Now keep in mind, he's only got about 20 seconds to get a takedown here, because he's got to erase that. He's got to win the match. He's got to erase that riding time. So Sulzer's got to move. He's got to create action here. Nice shot if he can come in there. If he does a little knee slide up.
Dieringer counter.
30 seconds here. He's got to work.
Got that collar tie to the far side. Sulzer with a near side underhook, and referee Tim Shields will blow the whistle, say let's do it. So riding time is assured at this point. So the best Sulzer can do, if he can get a takedown, it will only tie it up.
Yeah.
Take a shot. Dieringer going to hang on the head. Coming up on 18 seconds remaining in our first match of the evening here at the Palestra. Now in under 10, so we get some fireworks here late if Sulzer needs to do it. But we get a stalemate with 7 seconds to go.
I love the way Shields gives those guys an opportunity to get back on their feet when there's no action. I mean, he's one of those guys I really love when he does that. He brings them back up and he gets the action flowing.
So Alex Dieringer going to pick up a 4-2 victory in his debut at 165 pounds. So Oklahoma State picks up the victory. We'll see one more Cowboy later with Josh Kindig, but right now Dieringer starts us off 4-2, your win at 165.